Meghan Markle is furious after Harry lost his long-running legal battle against Associated Newspapers, the publisher of the Daily Mail. Harry failed to provide enough evidence to convince the court that the newspaper had obtained stories unlawfully. This wasn't just another legal defeat. It is a loss that has shaken Harry to his core due to the huge financial burden it would put on him and Meghan. Just wait until the end and see how everything unfolded.
Because when Harry's having a difficult time, Meghan doesn't want to be involved.
History teaches us that if you are not of use to the Duchess of Sussex, you're in a very lonely place. And that looks like the place where Harry is right now.
Harry arrived in the United Kingdom this week, and one of his first stops was the courtroom to continue a legal battle that had been ongoing for years. When he arrived, his mission was to seek justice. As the case was called, Harry appeared confident, almost as if he believed victory was already within reach. But everything changed when the judge delivered the ruling. After reviewing the evidence, the court concluded that there was not enough evidence for the case to proceed, and Harry's claim was dismissed.
Every one of Prince Harry's 97 allegations against the Daily Mail has been rejected. Not some of them, half of them, every single one, with the judge finding all 55 articles were lawfully sourced.
And then reality hit hard. Harry reportedly stood there and realized exactly what this verdict meant, not just for his reputation, but for his bank account. The combined legal costs are estimated at around £50 million. For a man whose deals are drying up, whose brand is collapsing, and whose income is nowhere near what it once was, that is not just a loss. That is potentially catastrophic.
The Duke of Sussex in London, as he and 6 other celebrities, including Sir Elton John, lost a legal battle that cost around $100 million against the Daily Mail's publisher. A judge dismissing claims that Associated Newspapers journalists unlawfully obtained stories.
When Harry realized that this case could leave him facing a bill of around £50 million, roughly $67 million, Meghan was reportedly furious. And her first thought was not about justice or press freedom. It was about the Montecito mansion and how they were going to keep the lights on. This verdict did not just hand Harry a legal defeat. It dropped an enormous financial bomb right into the middle of an already struggling household. And according to critics, Meghan wasted no time pointing the finger at Harry. She reportedly believes she handles things better than he does, and that every time Harry takes the lead, things fall apart. Whether that is fair or not, one thing is clear. This loss has added a whole new level of pressure to a marriage that was already being held together with very little.
On Friday, if he wins, but he's lost now. I don't think she wants to be on the arm of a loser. And what does Meghan Markle do when Harry's going through difficult times publicly? She disappears. When you think about how Jimmy Kimmel was tearing into him over Spare, and he's trying to promote, where's Meghan when he's promoting Spare? She disappears. Where was Meghan when he lost his rabbit case, when he sat down and was reaming the royal family to the BBC? Meghan mysteriously disappears. When Harry is going through difficult times, Meghan is MIA. She's nowhere to be found.
And the timing of Meghan's disappearing act could not be worse for Harry. Just days ago, there were reports that Meghan was already pressuring him to go out and generate income. The Netflix pitches that are not landing, the lifestyle brand that is struggling, the as-ever products that are not flying off shelves. Meghan has reportedly been pushing Harry to do something, anything, to bring money in.
Meghan Markle wants Prince Harry to get a job. And what's interesting about this to me is that she could only go for so long, Brittany, with the, I support you doing the philanthropy and you just go and be a little fake royal and I'll be the breadwinner. But the problem is it hasn't worked. And so, of course, she puts the pressure on Harry.
And now, the man she was pressuring to earn has just potentially added a £50 million legal bill to their already mounting financial problems. Royal biographer Tom Bower has also offered his own opinion on the couple's situation. According to him, Meghan was attracted to both stability and the spotlight. Critics argue that if both of those things begin disappearing, if Harry fails to provide those things, Meghan may eventually start looking elsewhere.
She'd have to have an escape route. She'd have to find a sort of a Silicon Valley or somehow aging billionaire that would want to take her on. I don't think she'd walk into the wilderness. I can't imagine any man finding happiness with Meghan Markle. I mean, I think it'll be pretty difficult. But I'm told there are Americans that would find her attractive. She dresses up and looks terrific when she wants to. In private, she is an absolutely screaming woman, unable to control her emotions when she's criticized.
Bauer points to the fact that several of Harry and Meghan's major commercial deals have already ended, including their Spotify partnership and Netflix deal. Speaking engagements have also not produced the level of success many expected. Because of all this, critics argue that finding the money to deal with another massive legal bill would be incredibly difficult. For some people, this entire lawsuit represents what they describe as a conspiracy theory that completely backfired. There are claims that Harry believed he could seriously damage the Daily Mail through the courts, but instead, the case ended up damaging his own public image. Others now believe this defeat has overshadowed the Invictus Games, which were supposed to be the main reason for Harry's visit to the United Kingdom. Rather than headlines focusing on the veterans or the games themselves, attention has shifted almost entirely to his courtroom defeat.
For it to hit while Harry's here, and he's supposed to be promoting the Invictus Games. This is supposed to be a redemption tour. This has to be a major blow not only to the ego, but to his plans over the next few days.
Harry spent years pursuing this case with absolute confidence. He was so certain he would win that he refused to settle, unlike many others who walked away. So, the Daily Mail took the matter a step further. It reportedly called the journalists Harry had accused of gathering information through unlawful means and asked them to explain exactly how they obtained their stories. The journalists gave detailed explanations to the court, outlining the methods they used, and the court found those methods to be lawful. However, when it was Harry's turn to present his evidence, the court found that the evidence he submitted failed to prove his allegations. It became a significant setback and a huge blow to Harry. From that point on, Harry chose to present himself as the victim, even though he had brought the case before the court without providing sufficient evidence to support his claims.
The Daily Mail, to its credit, put on a bunch of journalists, the ones who had been accused of using illicit means as a way of getting stories on Harry and others. And all the journalists said, tell me what you're accusing me of. No, that's not how I got that story at all. This is how I got that story. And, you know, as much as a journalist doesn't like to give up his or her source, the exposing the means by which you amassed your information was necessary here because they were being accused of essentially breaking the law. So he was wrong. He's got a sick sense of paranoia.
When Harry realized that the court's ruling had gone against him, he refused to quietly accept the outcome. Instead, he released a statement saying that he had sought justice but had received neither justice nor accountability. He described the judgment as an obvious whitewash and argued that the evidence presented before the court had not been properly considered. However, the judge made it clear that the decision was based on the lack of sufficient evidence. According to the court, Harry simply failed to provide enough proof to establish that unlawful information gathering had taken place.
Harry calls it a whitewash. The Mail calls it a conspiracy to destroy the paper. And lawyers say it could mark the end of historic hacking claims altogether.
Although Harry may not ultimately be responsible for paying the entire £50 million, he could still face a substantial financial burden. The final amount will depend on how the court allocates the legal costs and how much, if any, is covered through insurance. Even if Harry avoids paying the full amount, legal experts believe the lawsuit could still cost him dearly. Elton John will share a part of this bill because he was one of Harry's co-claimants in this case. The very day after losing the £50 million lawsuit, Elton John announced he was coming out of retirement to perform 2 concerts in Mexico City. The very next day, you cannot ignore this timing. It seems that losing this case suddenly made Elton John want to make some money quickly. Well, at least he has a means to make the money. What will Harry do? Critics argue that this could have a significant impact on both his personal finances and the future of his business ventures. Some even believe that Harry may eventually have no choice but to strengthen his ties with the royal family again as he looks for ways to rebuild both his reputation and his financial position.
And I think it's wonderful that the Daily Mail fought back, that he's been humiliated, and if he has to pay some massive legal fees as a result of being wrong, because over there in the UK, it is loser pays, unlike here in America, where generally everybody takes their own and walks away. Good. Maybe that'll really teach him a lesson.
Harry also continues to argue that security concerns prevent him from traveling freely with his family. Commentators point out that he has repeatedly said he cannot safely bring Meghan and the children to Britain without the level of security he wants. They also argue that his continued requests for taxpayer-funded protection create the impression that he is struggling to cover the costs himself. Whether fair or not, many commentators see this as another sign that Harry's position has weakened considerably, and they believe Meghan is far from happy about the direction things are heading. Harry is indeed at a very difficult and lonely stage right now. He walked out of that courtroom without his wife, without a victory, and potentially without the money to cover what comes next. The question everyone is now asking is simple. At what point does Meghan decide that Harry is no longer worth the investment? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you in the next video.